Are at the Sandstone parking lot, Sandstone Quarry parking lot at Red Rock Park, getting ready to head up Turtlehead Peak, one of the premier hikes in Red Rock Park. Take a 360-degree view. You see the frozen sand dunes. They're the smooth light brown color and sometimes red. Now we're looking at the White Mountain. Now we look at the mountains on the backside of Red Rock Park. There's Bridge Mountain right in the center. Rainbow Mountain and Rainbow Wall. And just to the left is Mount Wilson. Now we look down the expanse of Red Rock Park. There's straight down the canyon. Beautiful day. Coming around to some beautiful frozen sand dunes. This is the sandstone from which Sandstone Quarry parking lot is named. And this is actually a sandstone quarry. At one time, sandstone was quarried here, and we'll show you some of that in a bit. Okay, Turtlehead Peak is a beautiful run. There's Turtlehead Peak right in the center. By the way, just to the left and behind is La Madre Mountain. There's La Madre Mountain. And that's called the Keystone Thrust. That whole cliff system, which is a fun little run in itself. So Turtlehead Peak is, I believe it's about somewhere between 5 and 10 miles round trip. Okay, heading upward. Here's the Sandstone Quarry, from which the Sandstone Quarry parking lot was named. Huge blocks of sandstone mined from this frozen sand dune. Here's a little area where the mining took place. You see, they kind of stopped in the middle of the process. Who knows what reason? Probably found another source closer to Las Vegas. And you can see the whole story right here. Freeze the frame, enlarge it, and go ahead and read all about the Sandstone Quarry. Turtlehead Peak, just before sunrise. La Madre Mountain, 360-degree view, looking back down on the Sandstone Quarry parking lot. And now we're getting ready to head up the trail and onward to Turtlehead Peak. Okay, we're about 8 minutes into the trip here. There's the tip of Turtlehead Peak. The sun is coming up. There's the frozen dunes down at the Sandstone Quarry parking lot. Frozen dunes all around us. Turtlehead Peak is a series of rises. This is the first rise we're standing on. Then we're going to move ahead to the second, which is up ahead there, about in the center of the screen. And we're going to take a right, go through the gate, and straight up toward Turtlehead Peak. A few more rises. Beautiful morning. Picture perfect. Okay, we are at the second rise. Heading on up, you're looking down at the Sandstone Quarry parking lot and Blue Diamond Hill. And let's take a kind of a 360-degree view. I don't want to look straight into the sun. Frozen sand dunes. And at the base of these sand dunes is the wash that we take heading up to La Madre Mountain. There's La Madre Mountain, the Keystone Thrust. Is that cliff system. There you see White Mountain. And what else can we see? Oh, there's Goat Peak, North Peak. Before it, right in front of it, a little to the right, Bridge Mountain. And you can see the tip of Rainbow Mountain and Rainbow Wall. No, wait a minute. Hold it. I was all wrong. That's the tip of Bridge Mountain. Okay. Got to get our mountains right. Okay. And then looking up this direction, here's a place I call the gate. You'll see why in a moment. Heading up to our destination, Turtlehead Peak. And we're about, I don't know, 15 minutes into it. Okay, onward. Now we're standing at the gateway to Turtlehead Peak. Beautiful little area. There's that second rise we were on just a moment ago. And now you can see the mountains really opening up there. Bridge Mountain, Rainbow Mountain, and Rainbow Wall, Mount Wilson. Okay. And a little bit about strategy here. The route up Turtlehead Peak is a beautiful rock. Love to stand on this rock. Okay, strategy. The route up Turtlehead Peak is going right up this canyon. That's where the main trail goes. Up to the saddle and then take a right and on up. What we're going to do is we're going to take the high road. We're going to go straight up this ridge system. A little more adventurous. Better view. Okay, here we go. On the second rise, no, third rise. There, you see Red Rock Canyon opening up beneath us. There's the mountain system along the backside of Red Rock. There, Mount Wilson, Rainbow Mountain, Rainbow Wall, Bridge Mountain. And just the tip of that green little pointy Goat Peak behind the brown hill in the foreground. There's the canyon. the wash that continues on up as a shortcut to La Madre mountain cliffs. We've almost made it to the top. Maybe next time we'll be able to say we made it up that cliff system, about 600 feet, and about, well, no more than an eighth of a mile, and I'd make it up to the top from where I ended last. And here you can see Turtlehead Peak, the sun just beginning to peak behind the mountains here. There's the saddle to the left of Turtlehead Peak, and the canyon that has the main trail goes right up to that dip in the saddle. What we're going to do though, we're going to take a left at the next rise, and we're going to ride the ridge system, get that elevation out of the way, and see more. Beautiful view up there. Onward. Vantage point. Turtlehead Peak, the saddle, and you see the sun and that cloud right up there. Under that cloud and where you see the sun is the ridge we're going to climb. The main trail goes right up the canyon, the Saddle Canyon, we might call it. And we're going to take the high road, a little more challenging and fun, better view. And we pan around and you can see the Keystone Thrust. And we've navigated that cliff system up to about this point from La Madre Springs, which is behind White Mountain, which can be seen right here. Okay, and you can see the canyon, Red Rock Canyon, opening up even more. And we'll get better views of this as we go. Beautiful, beautiful day. Just the right combination of clouds and blue sky. Okay, and here we are. You see once again the sun is behind the mountains, just starting to peak. And there's Turtlehead Peak. And we've seen bighorn sheep in this canyon before. You got to be the first person up the canyon early in the morning, and maybe you have a chance of seeing them. Okay, onward. Next goal is this area right up here in the sun. And then beautiful views from there on out. We'll look down on where we're standing right now in just a moment. We get up to the top, we continue on, hit the top of the saddle, take a right, then right up the edge of the cliff here where the rocks are firm, and we end up at the summit. Okay, onward. Okay, here we are above the fourth rise. I've taken a little deviation already for adventure and for scenic beauty. The main trail goes up this canyon and up right to the saddle between Turtlehead Peak and then the rest of the ridge that I call Turtlehead Peak Saddle. We're taking the high road above that canyon. More beautiful view, heading for the sunspot up there. And then ride that ridge all the way up to the saddle. We're going to take a right and head right up the edge of the cliff system where the rocks are firm to Turtlehead Peak, our destination. In order to get there though, We have to cross this very tricky traverse at the base of the sunspot that you see. We're going to go around the left side. A lot of loose rock. So it's always a bit of a challenge. It's always nice when I hit the left side of that rocky outcrop, because then the real fun begins. Okay, we're looking over at the Keystone Thrust now. We've made it past this point on the Keystone Thrust, coming up from La Madre Springs, which begins about midway on the backside of White Rock, which you can see right there, White Mountain. And La Madre Springs ends up going, I believe, it takes you right up to about that point. We get up to the top of the Keystone Thrust, take a right, and then just continue along up to this point. And if we could get further, that was a 10-hour round trip last time when I began at the Willow Springs parking area, and then up through La Madre Springs up to the top of the Keystone Thrust, just to get to this point up here. We're looking at a 10-hour round trip. Here we are in what I call the tricky traverse up this loose rock, gravelly hill. From that rocky outcrop down there, where we diverted to this spot, and there you can see Red Rock Canyon opening up even more. Keystone Thrust, and more of this before we get to the top of the ridge, that sunspot I showed you a moment ago. Okay, onward we go. Past the tricky traverse, here's the opening, leads to the top of that sunspot, the ridge, and then on up. And a quick view around us. Here's La Madre Mountain, top of the Keystone Thrust. And we have navigated that system up to about the center of the screen here. And we've also navigated between these two peaks, the La Madre Mountain peaks, and about 600 feet from the top. And so there's a gap between the little outcrop here, that little mountain, and 600 feet below the peaks right in this, what I call the Madre Mountain Pass. So about 600 feet, half mile, and we'll have this legendary loop, which will go up between the two peaks, across the Keystone Thrust, down behind White Rock, which is just on the left, and then back to the Sandstone Quarry down this wash. So we'll see. It's a bit of a challenge, but I think we can do it one of these days, maybe next fall. There you can see Mount Wilson, Rainbow Mountain, Bridge Mountain, and Goat Rock or North Peak. Maybe the whole thing's called North Peak, that green pointy thing, and then the rock at the very top is Goat Rock. There's got to be a way I can use both names. Okay, there you have it. Onward and upward. Right through this pass. Show you what it looks like at the top of this ridge. Okay, here we are, standing on the sunspot we were looking at a moment ago. We came up from the Sandstone Quarry parking lot. Head up the wash there to what I call the gate, which is right about this area down here. I think it's right there. That's the gate. And then we came up the tricky traverse, which is just over this ridge. And I'm going to show you the La Madre mountain loop, the legendary La Madre loop. It will start at the Sandstone Quarry parking lot, head up this wash, we'll circle the end of the, what I call the Turtlehead Peak saddle, take a right, cross over to ascend. We'll find about 4 washes along the way. After we cross the end of the saddle, we will find the wash that leads up to what I call La Madre Mountain Pass. Takes you right between those two cliffs. We have made it within 600 feet of the top of that, going in this direction. Once we get to the top of that, we take a left, head along the top of the Keystone Thrust. Take a moment just to sit at the top of the La Madre Mountain. I call it the La Madre Mountain Twin. We'll sit right up there, enjoy the victory of having made it. Over along the top of the Keystone Thrust, I've made it from the other direction about to this point, maybe a little further. So I'm about a half mile and 600 feet elevation from the top of La Madre Mountain, from closing that loop. And there you can see the area that I made it to, the rock in the sun on the left, and then there's the, coming from this other direction, I made it up between those two mountains to about 600 feet below the summit there. So I'm 600 feet and 1/2 mile from closing that loop. Okay, we continue along top of the Keystone Thrust. We come down, I believe it's right in this area, La Madre Springs. We end up just at the base of White Mountain, which is right here in the middle. Come back down, navigate over to the wash, down the wash, and out the Sandstone Quarry parking area where we began. That whole loop is probably, I don't know, 25 miles or so. 4,000 feet elevation gain. So that's a goal. Maybe next spring or this fall. Who knows? So close. So there you have Turtlehead Peak. And as I mentioned, we're going to go up this ridge to the saddle, take a right. Then we're going to hug the cliff where the rocks are firm right up to the top of Turtlehead Peak. That's where we're going today. Okay, onward. Look at the Turtlehead Peak saddle. We're at the top of that saddle ridge. We're going to head down the saddle and then up the edge of the cliff here, right up to the top of Turtlehead Peak. And you see some hikers down here taking the more common trail that goes up the canyon to the top of the saddle. But they're not seeing views like this as they ascend that canyon. Take a little shot of North Peak, Goat Rock. At the very tip of it is that green pointy mountain. And we were there not long ago. Got a whole page on that. And from Goat Peak you descend from Goat Peak down to Bridge Mountain and then climb Bridge Mountain. Probably gonna be next fall for Bridge Mountain, Rainbow Mountain and Rainbow Wall, Mount Wilson. Got bogged down there at the base and a lot of underbrush. Hopefully we'll find a way through that up to the top of Mount Wilson. There's some beautiful climbs. White rock. There we are. A white mountain. Here's the Keystone Thrust. Cliff system. La Madre Twin Mountains. By the way, this is the first vantage point I ever saw La Madre Mountain and decided I wanted to attempt it. So we'll make it. Another thing for this fall. It's the end of May. Memorial Day is Monday. Oh, by the way, here is a shot of Las Vegas. Okay, onward and upward. Okay, skirting the edge of the cliff up to the top of Turtlehead Peak. Normal trail, I guess, is a little further in where these hikers are. And here's a great aerial view of Calico Basin. We've been down the Calico rocks down there, and there's normally, I mean, it's the last time we were there, beautiful little water reservoir right down this area. And we actually headed up the You can see a wash there, headed up the wash between the two La Madre peaks there. Good view here over across the Keystone Thrust. Down behind White Mountain. And you have the Willow Springs parking area on the other side of White Mountain. Okay, onward. Near the top of Turtlehead Peak, we're on the edge of the cliff system. Showed you a moment ago. And here you can see the cliff we are edging right now. And you can see the rocks are firmer along this area. And the view's really great too. And there is La Madre Mountain Wash, and on up to the La Madre Mountain Pass right in this area. We were there just last week. We got up to, oh boy, we were right up behind this big rock in the foreground. And we were ready to take the last section, just about 600 feet below the summit. We shall return and do that. Okay, onward. Just a little jog up to the top of Turtlehead Peak, our destination for today. Summit. And those hikers are right on the summit. And you see Las Vegas opening up. There's Damsel Mountain. There's the Calico Basin. Calico Rocks. Up to La Madre Mountain. Along the top of the Keystone Thrust. Down La Madre Springs. Behind the back of White Mountain, you find the Willow Springs parking area. And of course the mountain system on the other side of Red Rock Park, Red Rock Canyon there. This is one of my favorite spots to rest. Just lie on this beautiful rock. Look over the edge of the cliff here, right over that point. Sit right on that point, look down, and you see the whole trail that we came up. And just to give you an idea how we got to this point, there is the gate right down there. And we took the trail took a little deviation up to this ridge. Along the top of the ridge, up to the top of the saddle, then headed in this direction and up along the cliff system right up to the summit of Turtlehead Peak. And there we are. Beautiful view today. Kind of cool. I bet it's about 55, 60 degrees. And it's the end of May. Never happens in Las Vegas. What time is it? 8:43. Took me a couple hours to come up, but a lot of that was the length of this video and stopping and taking pictures. Okay, well, here we are. Beautiful views at the top of Turtlehead Peak.
Y ahorita sabes dos veces. Ay, pero bien justo. O sea, ¿sí me entiendes? Pero, o sea, natural. Ni nada de drogas, ni nada. Yo, así le digo. No, cállate, que en el grupo. Sí, eso es lo primero que te voy a decir. No, es que estaba haciendo los biles, ¿no? Y me eché atrás. No te sale de y no está difícil. No está difícil. Javier para I gotta get some really good pictures of Elijah. Cuando llegué, estaba echando este tomate donde dio las lentejas. ¡No! ¡Eso se fría primero! ¡Échale un poquito! ¡No, cállate! ¡Sabe bien! ¡Sabe igual! No, le digo, por mira, Javier, por lo menos media cucharada. ¿O no se la comió? No, sí, pero la estaba haciendo nada más, pero no le había echado nada de aceite. O sea, se veía así como que... Pues no llevan aceite, güey. Le pongo. No llevan aceite. ¿Sabes qué? Bueno, si quieres...
As you can see, a lot of action at the top. Very popular climb. Heading back down, I'll show you some of the shots from that canyon area. That's the main trail that I did not take on the way up. And then you'll have the whole picture. And you can see the trail down below us. And we're just about at the summit of Turtlehead Peak, so we are on our way back down. And there's a good shot of Damsel Mountain. Madre Mountain Pass between those two peaks. And guess what? There's Griffith Peak. We will be there soon on top of that peak. 11,060 feet. Right now we are at 6,200 feet. Okay, onward. Okay, now we're heading down the main canyon trail. And we're going to skirt right along the edge of that mountain area or hill, and then down, around, and down to the bottom and through the gate. And it's actually about a half hour, 45 minutes shorter than the upper trail that I took, which was along the top of this ridge up to the top of the saddle and then over. So give you an idea, different routes. This large rock is the sign where you begin to turn left and go down the canyon right after you pass this rock on the way down. And there's the cliff that we were on, Turtlehead Peak, just a moment ago. Okay, heading down, it'll be about 45 minutes and I'll be at the bottom minus whatever it takes to take pictures and talk about it. Okay, down we go. The canyon, continuing on down. There's Turtlehead Peak. And those rocky outcrops are the top of the saddle. And you can see by this 360-degree view why I took the upper ridge, which is along the top of that ridge you're looking at, because of the view. But I come down this way, it's about 45 minutes to an hour faster. So almost twice as fast coming down. Except watch out for all the loose rock. Look for the micro holds, which are anything that's sticking up that's really nailed down there, top of a boulder. Make sure you step on those. And there is the gate. And we go through the gate and down the wash and to the Trailhead Sandstone Quarry parking area. Okay, onward. Something you don't see so much of up on the upper ridge. We're in the canyon, heading down to the trailhead. Give you a 360-degree view here. And there's the summit of Turtlehead Peak. We were there just about 20 minutes ago. And here is the canyon and those rocky outcrops. Just beyond the rocky outcrops on the way down, we took a left. That's the sign that it's time to head down. There's the ridge I took on the way up. You can see the different topography here. Getting into yucca plants. It's got its own beauty. And then there's junipers down in the canyon. Don't go down there. Lots of big boulders to navigate. Stay on the trail and keep your footing. And also, know how to fall. If you know how to fall, you're in pretty good shape. I've fallen 2 or 3 times today. There's that group of hikers that were on the summit. There they are. Okay, onward and downward. This time it's the gateway into Red Rock Canyon. And 360-degree view. There's Turtlehead Peak. There's the saddle. La Madre Mountain. Keystone Thrust. There you have it. Heading back now. Here we are. The parking area is just on the right side of this beautiful Calico mountain, or hill, dune, whatever it is. And there we see Turtlehead Peak and the whole experience behind us. Now let's take a look at this cactus for a moment. Here's a prickly pear in bloom. Pretty large section here. End of May. Okay, so that is pretty much going to end our experience. There is the parking area right down there. And so we have made the loop. Started at, what, 6:30? And it's 10:15, so a lot of stops for videos and pictures, but this is pretty much the full story of Turtlehead Peak. So if you have a chance to get out to Red Rock Park, just outside of Las Vegas, there's a great destination, Turtlehead Peak. Okay, signing off for the day.